the opening session of the first regular session, if imina 37 legislature Guam, the 37th Guam Legislature is called back to order. I just want to note for the record that all 15 senators are present, and they were sworn in the opening day, January 2nd, 2023, of this session, and the legislature has a quorum to continue its business. Senators, we will resume with the election of the Speaker. The floor is open for nominations. Senator Chris Barnett, you are recognized.
Test. Thank you, Your Honor, and good morning, Guam. I move to nominate Senator Therese Terlahi as Speaker of the 37th Guam Legislature.
Senator Terlahi, do you accept the nomination?
I do, Your Honor.
Senator Will Parkinson, you are recognized.
I nominate Senator Joe San Augustine for Speaker of the 37th Guam Legislature.
Senator San Augustine, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Any other nominations? Senator Jesse Lujan.
I nominate Senator Frank Blas Jr. for Speaker.
Senator Frank Blas Jr., do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Any other nominations from the floor? Senator Sabina Perez, you are recognized.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to close the nominations for Speaker.
Any objection? Motion carries. So, Senators, we will vote by a show of hands, and under the applicable standing rules, 8 votes are required to elect the Speaker. The votes will be taken in the order of the nominations, and the acting clerk will count the votes, and I will announce the results in the order of the nominations. So the first nominee, please raise your right hand, all those in favor of Senator Therese Terlahi. Thank you. For Senator Joe San Augustine. For Senator Frank Blas Jr.
Your Honor, I respectfully decline my nomination.
Senator Blas declines the nomination. Madam Clerk, if you could give me the results so I can read it out aloud. So the results of the votes by a show of hands in the order of the nominations, Senator Therese Terlahi received 9 votes, and Senator Joe San Augustine received 6 votes. Therefore, Senator Therese Terlahi, having received the majority of the members, is duly elected as the Speaker of the 37th Guam Legislature. Madam Speaker, you may come forward for your inaugural address and preside as chair for the remainder of the first session. And congratulations.
Hafide, I want to thank our Chief Justice Carbuzito for being patient with us and presiding over our inauguration 2-day festivities. But Sijus Masi, CJ. I want to say buenas and hafade to my colleagues, Emmanuel and Mananao, our friends, our family, our neighbors, our colleagues, and the proud people of Guam. I stand here today and I think about all the great leaders that have graced these hallowed halls, who have cleared the path for us with their acts of service, leadership, and fearlessness, and they continue to inspire us. In March of 1949, concerned about limited legislative powers, the Guam Congress staged an act of defiance in protest against the naval government, drawing national attention in its quest for self-governance, which has since become known as the walkout. Assembly Speaker Antonio B. Wampat stated in a letter to the naval governor Pownall in 1949, the members of the House of Assembly consider that the powers of the 3 branches of government must be defined. It is further believed that only then can you and your staff, the legislative and judicial branches of the naval government, assure the people of Guam of the full functioning of the democratic processes of government. In the meantime, the members of the Assembly do not feel that they can appear to have the status of a legislative body without the proper powers to carry out that function, unquote. And every legislature since that walkout has inherited the responsibility to build upon the progress of our predecessors, who fought for more legislative authority for what was at one time an advisory body to a plenary power. And we must continue to embody their spirit today and every day forward by diligently and responsibly exercising our authorities of oversight and policy making. This beautiful Guam Congress building symbolizes the determination of those before us who fought for self-governance, so that we are empowered with greater authority over our land and all our resources and the administration of laws that affect our lives. Henceforward, we have the privilege, colleagues, of doing the people's work in this very significant and historical place, a thought not lost upon me as I entered these doors every day for the past 6 years. It is incumbent upon us in the 37th Guam Legislature to uphold their legacy, to promote opportunity and the prosperity of all the people of Guam. Today, I'm proud to share this room with 14 colleagues, some returning from the previous terms, some returning to the legislature from prior terms, as well as those who have taken elected office for the first time. It takes courage to make the decision to seek public office, and to serve in this capacity will require our self-sacrifice and complete dedication to equality. I thank you for your courage and for your willingness to serve our people. You have my utmost respect. The newly elected senators swearing in before us, or earlier, 2 days ago, who have been sworn in, have promised and now committed to deliver on a safer Guam, education and prioritizing our children, affordable housing, universal health care, greater access to health care, sustainability and environmental conservation and stewardship, economic diversification and support for Guam's businesses, to reduce poverty, for better access to resources for disabilities, to combat corruption, to combat drugs, for transparency and accountability, to restore pride back into our community, and to rein in government frivolous spending, and to continue the BPT and an equal playing field for the businesses on Guam, to the reduced BPT, to reduce government red tape, to fix procurement, continue to make progress, fighting inflation, creating jobs, dedicating resources to the Department of Agriculture for animal control, continuing to improve our roads, and most of all, for balanced government powers. With a combination of life experience, legislative experience, business acumen, public service, statesmanship, boldness, and fresh perspectives on long-standing issues, I expect no less than that they will deliver. And as a body, if we are to accomplish this bold and diverse agenda, we must work together in a bipartisan effort. And we must place personal politics aside and engage in healthy debate based on truth and facts to find long-term solutions to many of the issues that have plagued our island all these years. More and more every day, families are struggling with the decision to leave Guam in search of a better life. And as duly elected public servants, we must address this crisis head-on and do everything in our power to bring that better life here for those we have sworn to serve. This 37th Guam Legislature must shift our strategy from recovery to prosperity. And colleagues, in a matter of weeks, we'll be receiving the executive budget request for fiscal year 2024. We will have to roll up our sleeves and find ways to not only ensure the financial health of the government of Guam, but to enact policy to promote the health and well-being of all our families, to provide resource assistance for residents most at risk, to provide better training and opportunities for those who are working, access to better health care here, and safer communities. Through conservative budgeting and the efforts of our Appropriations Chair, the Guam Legislature has realized excess revenues every year since fiscal year 2019 of approximately $117 million based on audited surpluses and another $103 million surplus for unaudited fiscal year 2022. This conservative approach to budgeting and spending has benefited not only the government of Guam by eliminating the deficit, but allowed for the stabilization of Guam's economy. Additionally, this body has made progress in ensuring the protection of Guam's rich land and cultural resources through efforts on many fronts, including reform, the allocation of better resources for environmental protection, and the fight for transparency of the utilization of federal excess lands and federal funds. And this newly elected body must take the progress that has already been made, use it as a roadmap, and apply common sense and practical approaches to find even better solutions for what lies in store for us during this term. Additionally, we must be unwavering in our commitment to hold robust oversight over the agencies charged with executing the mandates of the laws of Guam, as well as longstanding policy enacted by those who've come before us. As your Speaker, I resolve to continue working to protect the power of the people, to continue to restore the people's faith in their government, to bring transparency to our process, and to practice truth and justice, so that the best ideas and solutions can be born from the 37th Guam Legislature. So today is the first day of this short two-year legislative term, and I'm ready to work with all of you to make Guam a home where the hopes and dreams of our families are realized, and this will be the true measure of our work here. I want to thank my colleagues for their vote of confidence in me, and I know, I just hope that going forward, it hasn't been a smooth path, but I'm hoping and praying that going forward we were going to be able to work together genuinely for the people of Guam. Si Diyos masi todos hamzu, pasesi hain gagagaw ham hantu, na tajuti ham mo na para in minagahit and in minalekta. Si Diyos masi. Colleagues, we're now on the election of legislative officers. Is there a nomination for Vice Speaker? Senator San Augustine, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I nominate Senator Tina Rose Munoz-Barnes, the Vice Speaker.
Senator Munoz-Barnes, do you accept the nomination?
Mananasitus, Madam Speaker, I accept the nomination.
Are there any other nominations? Is there a motion to close? Senator Perez, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to close the nominations for Vice Speaker of the 37th Guam Legislature.
There's a motion to close the nomination for Vice Speaker. Are there any objections? Seeing no objection, motion carries. On the question of the election of the Vice Speaker, all those in favor of Senator Tina Munoz-Barnes to serve as Vice Speaker, please signify by raising your hand. Senator Tina Munoz-Barnes has received unanimous support from your colleagues of Imina 26 na Legislature in Guahan. The Vice Speaker of Imi-37 na Legislature in Guam is Senator Tina Rose Muñoz Barnes. On the election of Legislative Secretary, Senator Roy Dueñas, you are recognized. Sorry. Senator Roy Kanata, you are recognized.
I nominate Amanda Shelton for Secretary.
Senator Shelton, do you accept the nomination?
Sidus Masi, Madam Speaker, I accept the nomination.
Are there any other nominations? Is there a motion to close? Senator Kanata, you are recognized.
Thank you. I make a motion to close.
On the motion to close the nominations for Legislative Secretary, is there any objection? Seeing no objection, motion carries. On the election of Legislative election of Legislative Secretary, Senator Amanda Shelton, is there any objection? Sorry, just 1 second. Yes. On the question of the election of Senator Amanda Shelton to serve as Legislative Secretary, please signify by raising your hand. Senator Amanda Shelton has received unanimous support to serve as Legislative Secretary of Imi-37 na Legislature in Guam, the 37th Guam Legislature. On the nomination of legislative attachés, Senator Perez, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I nominate Edward S. Pakaigui, Jr. To be Sergeant at Arms, Reverend Father Paul Goffagan to be Chaplain, Renee V.C. Meno to be Clerk of the Legislature, Darlene Heighton to be Legislative Legal Counsel to serve as legislative attachés of Imi-37 na Legislature in Guam, or the 37th Guam Legislature.
Are there any more nominations? Senator Muñoz Barnes. Vice Speaker, yes, you are recognized.
As a point of information, Madam Speaker, on the attachés, I'd ask for reconsideration to separate the attachés and vote by them one at a time, and I'm hoping that my colleagues will give me that consideration. So I guess a motion for consideration is on the floor, that we vote each attaché one by one.
There's a motion to separate the nomination of attachés. All in favor of that motion to separate the nomination of attachés, please raise your hand. Motion fails. Are there any other nominations? Is there, Senator Barnett, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and congratulations. I move to close the nominations.
On the motion to close the nominations, are there any objections? Seeing no objection, motion carries. On the question of the election of legislative attachés, namely, Attorney Darlene Heighton as Legislative Counsel, Renee Meno as Legislative Clerk, Ed Pakaigui as Sergeant of Arms, and Father Goffagan as Chaplain. All those in favor of the named attachés, please signify by raising your hand. Motion passes. The attachés have received majority consent. Will the attachés please come before the chair and raise your right hand and swear? We will do the oath. Please raise your right hand. I solemnly swear in the presence of Almighty God that I will well and faithfully support the Constitution of the United States, the laws of the United States applicable to Guam, and the laws of Guam, and that I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my duties as an attaché of Imine 37 na Legislature in Guam. Congratulations. We're now on the adoption of standing rules. Senator Perez, you are recognized.
I move to adopt the standing rules of Mina 37 in la Legislature in Guam and to allow legal counsel and the clerk to make technical changes.
Some copies are still being passed out, so I'm going to just pause.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I object that we...
Senator San Augustine, yes, you're
I
recognized.
object to adopting of the rules until we have adequate time to review what the standing rules has in its contents. This is over 140 pages. Thank you.
All right. There's been a motion to adopt the standing rules that have been passed out. There's been an objection to that motion. All in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. All in favor of the motion to adopt the standing rules as the copies that you have. All in favor, please raise your hand. All in favor of adoption of the standing rules, please raise your hand. Motion passes. Renee. That's me. We're now on the election of standing committee chairpersons. The list of standing committees is on page 4 of the standing rules. Senator Chris Barnett, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to nominate the following members to serve as chairpersons of the following committees. Senator Chris Barnett, Committee on Rules. Senator Joe S. San Augustine, Committee on General Government Operations and Appropriations. Senator William Parkinson, Committee on Fire, Agriculture, Power and Energy, Utilities, Public Transit, Unemployment Insurance, and Universal Health Insurance. Senator Amanda Shelton, Committee on Air Transportation, Parks, Tourism, Higher Education, and the Advancement of Women, Youth, and Senior Citizens. Senator Roy Kanata, Committee on Infrastructure, Economic Development, Simon Sanchez High School, Disability Services, Self-Determination, and Historic Preservation, Housing, Public Accountability, and the Guam Buildup. Senator Tina Muñoz Barnes. Vice Speaker Tina Muñoz Barnes, Committee on Human Resources, Agotna Revitalization, Regional Affairs, Public Libraries, Telecommunications, Technology, and Federal and Foreign Affairs. Senator Dwayne Stanicolas, Committee on Maritime Transportation, Emergency Response, Military and Veteran Affairs, Border Safety, and Mayor's Council. Senator Sabina Perez, Committee on Environment, Revenue and Taxation, Labor, Procurement, Statistics, Research, and Planning. Senator Chris Barnett, Committee on Education, Public Safety, and the Arts, and Speaker Therese Terlahi, Committee on Health, Land, Justice, and Culture. Madam Speaker, I think I read the wrong slip of paper.
Yes, if you could please refer to page 4. I think those are the accurate titles. I'm sorry, page 3. Page 3.
3.
After the table of contents, it starts to number again.
Madam Speaker, if I may,
Yes.
on a point of information, please.
Point of information, Vice Speaker, you're recognized.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, as the previous senator from Aleso was asking, I'd like to ask for a moment's recess on a breakdown on the committee makeup, as the discussions on each committee was not truly verified by the members. So I'm asking for a moment's recess so that we can take the time to, so at least for me, take the time to talk to our colleagues to see what the...
My apologies, Vice Speaker, that's not a point of information. But I'll accept it as
Then
a
a
motion.
motion
There's a
for-
motion to recess. All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion fails. Senator Burnett, you're recognized on the motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to nominate the following chairpersons for the following committees. Senator Chris Barnett, the Committee on Rules. Senator Joe S. San Augustine, Committee on General Governmental Operations and Appropriations. Senator William Parkinson, Committee on Fire, Agriculture, Power and Energy, Utilities, Public Transit, Unemployment Insurance, and Universal Health Insurance. Senator Amanda Shelton, Committee on Maritime Transportation, Air Transportation, Parks, Tourism, Higher Education, and the Advancement of Women, Youth, and Senior Citizens. Senator Roy Kanata, the Committee on Infrastructure, Economic Development, Simon Sanchez High School, Disability Services, Self-Determination and Historic Preservation, Housing, Public Accountability, and the Guam Buildup. Vice Speaker Tina Munya Barnes. Committee on Human Resources, Agatnia Revitalization, Regional Affairs, Public Libraries, Telecommunications, Technology, and Federal and Foreign Affairs. Senator Dwayne San Nicolas, Committee on Emergency Response, Military and Veteran Affairs, Border Safety, and the Mayor's Council. Senator Sabina Perez, Committee on Environment, Revenue and Taxation, Labor, Procurement, Statistics, Research, and Planning. Senator Chris Barnett, Committee on Education, Public Safety, and the Arts. Speaker Therese Terlahi, Committee on Health, Land, Justice, and Culture. Thank you.
Are there any further nominations? Is there a motion to close nominations? Senator Perez, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to close the nominations.
There's a motion to close nominations for committee chairs. Are there any objections? Seeing no objection, motion carries. Nominations are closed. On the question of the senators to serve as committee chairs, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes. There's been majority consent of the chairs as announced. And the chair will now entertain announcement of any party leaders. All right. Father Paul Gulfigan is not here to do our concluding benediction as originally scheduled in the inauguration. So I would ask that we please rise. Senator Dueñas.
Madam Chair, apologies, we missed the opportunity. I would like to officially on the record and on the floor now announce the party leadership of the Republican caucus. Our minority leader is Senator Frank Blas Jr. Our minority whip is Tello T. Taitagui. That is the extent of our leadership, and so we'd just like to thank the body And thank you, Madam Speaker, and congratulations. And thank you, Chief Justice, for your diligence and patience. Si Diyos masi.
Si Diyos masi, Senator. All right, is there a motion to adjourn, subject to the call of the Speaker? Vice Speaker Muñoz-Barnes.
Again, Madam Speaker, I guess if this is in order, the Assistant Majority Leader's position was not voted on, and I'm hoping that we have a chance to nominate.
There's been a
On
no
our side.
announcement, so we will table that announcement. It's not a
No, the majority. I'm asking for the Assistant Majority, Madam Speaker.
all right.
For the majority
You have
leader.
a motion, Senator, please state your motion.
I nominate Senator Joe San Agustin as Assistant Majority Leader.
I'm going to, with due respect, declare that motion is out of order. The majority officers are going to be decided by the majority party. Senator Barnett, you are recognized.
Madam Speaker, I move to recess if that's okay. Subject to the call of the Speaker. Adjourn, Madam Speaker. Sorry, I'm new at this. I move to adjourn, subject to the call of the Speaker. Thank you.
There's been a motion to adjourn, subject to the call of the Speaker. Are there any objections? Motion carries. We are adjourned, subject to the call of the Speaker. Sus Masi colleagues.